Alright, Twisters, how you doing? It's that time of week again for Art's Attention Gainer. For the week of... I have no idea. I've been out busy doing yard work all week. Getting things cleaned up, straightened up. Haven't even had to kill any zombies. And been on leave, so it's been kind of relaxing in a way. Good times. Spend some time with the family. Something that's always important. I did do a little review on the shovel for you. Used it to dig a little bit. Had the wife help me record it. So we'll take a little bit of that through the magic of editing. Not really editing, we're just going to pause the video and put that into it, watch it, and then call it good. I think it'll be cool. Alright, so, ow, bug. With it warming up and getting nice outside, everybody wants to go out camping, hiking, at least I know I do. You know, and it's always a fun time. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. Fun time to get out with the family, go out camping, hiking, shooting, things of that nature. Get away from the hustle and bustle of daily life and just try to relax and go somewhere where there ain't a lot of zombies. So, I figured today we'd go over a little fire starting, do-it-yourself fire starting. Now, you've probably seen these before. I know I have. I've never really tried them because I just usually use just plain old dry tinder, and a bit of paper, and usually can get it going. If that all else fails, I use some good old fire water, and poof, good fire. But these seem to be pretty cool, and they seem to be out there all the time, and they're pretty simple to make. Basically, all you need is some petroleum jelly. This is a skin protectant, white petroleum USP. Pretty much the same thing as brand name, but petroleum jelly. And cotton balls. Now, I also am going to try Q-tips. And there's a reason why. But to start us off, let's go with a cotton ball. For some reason, cotton balls they're like, ew, when I touch them. I don't know why. It's just weird. Weird feeling. So, you take your cotton ball, petroleum jelly, and just put it in there, and you're just going to stick it in there. Kind of smear that petroleum all around. Now, and I've read and I've heard that once you do this, you stick them in a baggie, and even if that baggie gets wet, they'll still light. So maybe we'll try that too. Just take our other one out. And see, I tested one already, just to make sure. Take it. I'm going to put it in my tin cup here. So you can see, no tricks. See, it's in there. Voila. I even fell over and it's still burning. And it's getting a little warm, just so y'all know. But you can see, I mean, that's a lot of flame. I mean, that probably starts you a good little fire right there. One of them, the cool thing is, you blow it out. If you don't use it all up, you can use it over again. So let's sit there. See how long that bad boy burns. We don't burn down the camper. I mean, you could almost a self-contained cooking unit right there. A little stove. It's kind of high speed. Wife's probably going to get mad at me for burning it in my tin cup, but it's alright. So you got those there. That's your cotton ball, and that's just a little bit of petroleum jelly. Basically, you make a bunch of these up, throw them in a Ziploc baggie or whatever, and you're good to go. Now, I also said Q-tips, and there's a reason why I like Q-tips, especially for this. You can put these in a Ziploc baggie and put them in with your matches, and they don't take up a whole lot of room. So all you're going to do, just get it on the tip there. Of course, you're going to want to use probably the paper ones a little bit better, the Q-tips, instead of the plastic ones, but they do work. Simple, easy, and really quick to start fires with. You don't need a lot of stuff to them. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and I mean, they'll keep forever in baggies. Just throw them in a baggie and away you go. And I mean, we're still... Ooh. It's warm. I was going to pick it up and show it to you. It's a little nipply. I melted my baggie too. See the flames? I mean, it's still going. Somebody call the fire department. We started shit on fire. There you go. Now, I'm going to apologize. This video is going to be a little short. It's not going to, too short. It's not going to have a lot of information because I've been kind of busy this week. Like I said, been on leave, been spending some time with the family, doing yard work. Also been getting my garage squared away. So, next couple of videos, hopefully, once I get a tripod for the camera, will be actually in my garage. So I'm going to be able to test stuff a lot more, do a lot of different stuff, and I'll have a little more space and room to show you guys stuff. So it's not going to just be camera staring at me and me running my gobstopper and showing you stuff like this. Okay? Alright. So, along those lines of the DIY, do-it-yourself fire starters, yeah, again, cotton ball and petroleum jelly. That's as simple as it gets. Put them in a paper or a plastic baggie, not paper, and grab one and use it when you need it. Along those lines, let's talk about our survival tip. Let's talk about fire. Fire is one of the fundamentals of survival. Yeah, shelter, fire, food, safety, all that good stuff. Okay? Fire is one of those things that everybody thinks bigger is better. Well, I agree to some extent. Bigger is better when it comes to a signal fire. If you're trying to signal somebody, I'm going to make it the size of the Empire State Building if I can. But if I'm not and I'm trying to survive, bigger isn't always better. And there's a reason why. When you're dealing with a survival situation or any type of situation where you need heat, bigger doesn't always mean better, because the bigger it is, yeah, the more heat it's going to put out, but the faster it's going to put that heat out there, and it's not going to stay as long. And it's also going to push you back. It's harder for you to get close enough to that to, really stay warm. So what you're always going to, when you're doing a survival situation, smaller is the better option for you. You want to make a nice small fire. And I mean, you don't have to, it doesn't have to use a lot of tinder, a lot of wood. Don't need big pieces. You can make a small fire out of a bunch of little twigs, set up a lean-to over top of it, and that's going to produce enough heat that you're going to be plenty warm. And that's what you want to have. Rule of thumb is always, when I was learning how to do these fires, it started when I was in Boy Scouts, which is going to lead into something else later on down the lines. Is, when we do our wilderness survival, one of the requirements is you have to build a fire underneath a piece of rope. And that fire has to stay low enough that it doesn't burn the rope, but it has to stay warm enough that you can sit by it and warm up. And it's a lot harder than a lot of people think. I mean, it took me a couple of tries before I finally figured out, just how to do it right. And you also don't want to put out a large amount of smoke, aka my smoke pot here still. The thing's still kicking out smoke. You don't want to put out a lot of smoke, and it's definitely not a lot of black smoke. So you don't want to use green tinder if you can get away with it. You want to use nice dry tinder. You don't want to use wet tinder, green tinder, because that's going to put out a lot of black smoke or white smoke. You just want heat. A hot fire burns with minimal smoke. A fire that burns with a lot of smoke is basically, it's a hot fire, but it's not, it's basically consuming the liquids inside that flame, inside the fuel. So remember, when you're dealing with fires in a survival situation, smaller is most of the time better. Plus, it's going to be less visible. You got a smaller fire, it's got a less signature on it, you're less likely to be spotted from a distance. And that's kind of the goal if you're in a situation where there's a lot of zombies around, because everybody knows they're attracted to anything and everything. So remember, smaller is better when it comes to survival fires. So Keep them small, simple, pretty easy. I plan on going back and doing a lot of this stuff. Like I said, I'm waiting on some tripods and stuff, so bear with me. I know these first couple of videos are kind of just me, but we're going to get out and do a lot more stuff. And once we get out there doing it, warming up, plus I'm kind of getting into the groove of these things, so we'll get it going. Just bear with me. Alright. Now, I'm going to start trying to do this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, the followers of Z-Girl Everything is Zombie Apocalypse, if you have any questions that you would like to have answered about firearms. Be it, what's the best caliber you consider, what kind of handgun would you consider, this, that, or the other. You know, it's very difficult doing this type of stuff in regards to firearms because I don't know how broad the fan group is when it comes to their knowledge on firearms. Some of you are way out there above and probably excel what I have as far as knowledge on firearms. Others, not so much. So this is your opportunity to ask questions. Submit me a question on the Wednesdays, and I will answer them in these videos. You know, be it you want to know how to break down an AK-47, you want to know how to break down an M4, you want to know how to, you know, look into what's the equipment required to reload. You want to know, you know, what type of handgun do you recommend for home defense? Let you ask the questions, and I'll do the homework. If I don't already know, I'll do the homework and answer it for you. Most cases, and I've already been asked these questions on quite a few occasions, and I'll have a good background on giving you the answers that you're looking for. So go ahead and ask those questions, and that way I can fire back, and I know what you guys are looking for firearms wise. Because I really do want to include the firearms aspect, because that's what I'm supposed to be here on Z-Girl Zombie Apocalypse, is, you know, for firearms, weapons. So ask, and we'll answer. But today we're going to review one of my personal favorites on sidearms. I carry, and I have carried for a long time, the Beretta 92 FS. It's just a standard Beretta 92 FS. There's been a couple differences. I've got Hogue grips. Let's go ahead and unload. You can see chamber's clear, mag's clear. But I've had this this pistol about as long as I've had my K-bar. And I bought it from, which armory did I buy this one from? I don't remember. I remember I bought a matched pair, and I don't remember if this is the pair that I got from a downgrade in a armory or if this is from Philadelphia Police Department. Either way, I bought it. It's either or. Bought it through auction. I've had it ever since. I love it. Very simple and easy to use. This one here has the tritium night sights. I need to get my front one replaced. It finally gave out on me. But the cool thing about it is you get a hold of tritium. It's literally $54. You send in the slide and they replace it for like $54. I mean, it's nothing compared to some sites out there. Simple to use. They're not they are ambidextrous in a way. Your decocking lever, aka safety, everybody calls it, you know, it's the safety. It's actually labeled in your manual as the decocking lever, and here's the reason why. Can be operated from right or left side. You got your magazine release. Your magazine release is on the right hand side, right there. Slide release and slide lock, right hand side as well. So they can be kind of ambidextrous, you know, used with both hands. I know some shooters that have used them. Now, and then I know there's a lot of you out there right now that are sitting here going, why would you carry this? And I'm going to tell you. Right after I get some water. This break has been brought to you by H2O. It's good for you. Alright. Sorry. Hydrate. You always got to hydrate. It's what makes your beard look dashing. Okay. So why did I decide to go with the Beretta? Well, one, when I purchased this, I was still in the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps was issuing these as a standard sidearm. And I had to learn how to use them. So, I learned how to use it. So why not? You know? First weapon that you pick up is usually the one you've learned on. I learned on the Beretta. Figured this would not be a bad idea to pick one up. So I did. I actually bought two. Got one for me and one for my wife. Matching, well, one-up serial numbers for each. Mine come with the Hogue grips. Cannot say nothing but good about these. I love these grips. They make much difference in my hands. But as it goes for sidearms, the Beretta is a very, very reliable and capable sidearm. Here comes the Freedom Train right on time. Okay. So, basically, I learned to use this pistol. That's one of the reasons I picked this up. Secondly, it's reliable. I've used it in multiple occasions, multiple situations, and it's never failed on me. And I've put all kinds of rounds through this thing. From the cheap steel-cased ammunition, snake shot, you name it, I've put it through it, and I've used it, and I like it, and I still do. I still carry it. I know a lot of you out there of the Glock Nation. I carried a Glock when I was a police officer. 2x4 with sights. I didn't like it. First thing right off the bat I'll say, I did not like Glocks. I to this day don't like Glocks. There's a couple reasons why. We'll get into those maybe later, maybe not. Now if you like Glocks, more power to you, but don't be bashing my 9mm Beretta 92 FS. There's a reason why this gun is still around and doing what it's doing. And there's also a reason why there's a huge fan base for it, but there's also a reason why a lot of people hate it. And you want to know why the reason people hate this weapon? It's the simple fact that they were in the military, they had one issued to them, and it was in the armory, and it had been in the armory for who knows how long, and it was not maintained at a level other than standard maintenance that the military does for all their weapons. See, that's the problem. That's why a lot of people dislike Berettas. It's because their first introduction to them was in the military. And those weapons have been in the armory since they were purchased. And I know the first Beretta I ever picked up was from the 80s. I mean, it was one of the first Berettas that got transferred over, that got purchased when the 1911 went out of the armories. So it had its issues. It was a rattle trap. You go like this and it sounded worse than that. It sounded like it was falling apart. Slide wouldn't lock to the rear all the way all the time. You had issues with it, misfeeds, jams, double feeds. The magazines didn't fit all the time, and just a gambit of problems. And it literally comes down to is you've got PFCs, lance corporals, privates that are in the armories that are responsible for maintaining these weapons that have over 300 of them they have to maintain. So they hit it and they go on. It's not like your gun show, the gunsmiths where you take your weapon in and say, hey, tune it. And they go over it with a fine-tooth comb. No, these guys look at it and go, oh, trigger spring's broke. Replace the trigger spring. Well, that's not the problem. Trigger spring was broke, yeah, but what caused it to break inside here? Something else was wearing out. So that's what happens. Now, another reason I love my Beretta is the ease of breaking it down. It's basically you push this button right here. You flip this right here, pull it apart, pull out your spring, your follower, pull out your barrel, and you're done. It's that simple. You Glock fans out there, yeah, I can already see, because you know what? It took me 2 months to figure out how to break down a Glock. And I mess with firearms all the time, and they handed me this Glock, and I had to get on YouTube and watch a video to figure out how to break down a Glock to clean it. And then it was a nightmare. Nightmare. I'm sorry guys, but you're not selling me on this Glock deal. 2x4 with sights, and it's a pain in the neck to clean. Pain in the neck to break down. I just did it right there. Simple. Put it back together. Insert your barrel, your spring, your buffers tube, Slide it on, push it back, lock it in place. Functions check. Piece of cake. So that right there is your Beretta 92FS. It's a 9mm Parabellum or 9mm Luger, 9mm. Shoots accurately out to, I've hit out with this one, I've hit out to 250 meters. Did a little windage, but it can shoot. Your max effective is supposed to be out to 100 meters, roughly. So, excellent weapon. It's my concealed carry weapon. It's my everyday carry weapon. It's my weapon. I carry it. This is what I have. I don't have any other pistols for every other day use. This is the Beretta. This is what I have. This is what I use. And I cannot complain. It's double action, single action. And it works. Made by Beretta. Company is based in Italy. This one was made in Maryland, which is a shame for all you Maryland folk, because last I heard they were moving out of Maryland. When I first got this one, the spring on the inside was really loose. I walked into the shop up there in Maryland, showed it to them. They said, "Here, give it to us. We'll have it back to you in 3 days." Walked back in 3 days. I was still on active duty at the time. Walked back in 3 days. They'd not only fixed the spring, but they'd re-blued the slide for me, and no charge. So, customer service as well on the Beretta is outstanding. Can't complain on all four sides. So there's your Beretta 92FS. I'll get you some videos of shooting this later on down the line. Right now, ammo cost is killing everything. Alright, so covered our pistol. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about being in the Boy Scouts, and I wanted to show you guys something, share something with you guys. It kind of makes me laugh in a way, but it's also kind of sad. This is my Boy Scout handbook. As you can see, it's well loved. I have had this since I joined the Scouts. Don't ask me the time and date because I don't remember. I do know that I was one of the youngest Eagle Scouts in the state of Wyoming when I did get my Eagle Scout, and that was back when Clinton was still in office. I don't know if that ages me or doesn't age me. Either way. Interesting thing on this is I picked this one. Is JCPenney used to be our, JCPenney was the scouting stations around in Wyoming. I picked this up for $4.95. I don't even think you can get anything for $4.95 anymore. I think the new ones are about $15, somewhere around then. So that shows you how things are going. Biggest reason I wanted to show you guys this book is, if nothing else, if you can't get a hold of anything else information-wise, you cannot go wrong with a Boy Scout handbook. I mean, it doesn't matter what year it is. I have some of the, I've got 1959 edition, a 1965, I've got a 72 edition, I think I have a 79 edition, and I think I have a 48 edition. I'll have to look in my books back there, but you can see on the back of them, they have them there. And I know I definitely have 65, 72, 79, and I think 59 and 48. I think I have those as well. The thing is the information really hasn't changed because it's not new information. It's just been refined over age and over time, and it covers everything in here. I mean, this is one of those books that you have no inkling about being out in the wilderness and what you need to do out there. It's got everything. You can bypass the ranks and everything, advancements. Let's see here. Yeah, you can bypass like the first couple of chapters. Then you can go into the outdoor adventures. And I mean, it starts out, let's go camping. Low impact, no trace camping. Different types of camping. What gear you need. I mean, it breaks it down. It's got your essentials. Packing essentials: pocket knife, first aid kit, extra clothing, rain gear, canteen or water bottle, flashlight, trail food, matches and fire starter, sun protection, map, and compass. And then it breaks it down in your first aid kit. What do you want in there? Moleskin, first a few adhesive bandages, some roll of adhesive tape, several sterile gauze pads, and enough change for a few emergency phone calls. Nowadays, change with emergency phone calls, replace that with your cell phone. Because I don't know where I would be able to find a payphone. I've never seen a payphone other than the one time I was in New York. Let the train go by again. See, it never fails. I sit down to have a discussion with you guys, and the trains want to make sure that I know they're still flying through here. But rain gear, flashlights, it shows you how to, blanket sleeping bag. This is a lost art in a way. And it's kind of interesting because I've slept in, we call them Ranger tacos, poncho liners with a poncho liner with a, holy brain fart, Batman. Poncho liner with a poncho. It's in the name. Poncho liner with a poncho. Basically, you put the poncho liner inside the poncho, tie it all up, hook it all together, and you get a Ranger blanket or a Ranger taco. I've slept in those many times out in the field. I mean, even in monsoon season North Carolina, and gotten slammed with water and been just fine. I've slept, when I was doing Living History back before the end of the world and all the zombies, I've slept in just 2 wool blankets with a gum blanket on it. Basically a gum blanket, and maybe that's what I'll do in next reviews, is I'll break all this stuff out and show you how to do it. If you'd like to see that, let me know. But a gum blanket is basically just a high-speed form of, it's one of the first types of ponchos. And honestly, they're awesome. I'm surprised that they've gone away from them. Basically, it's because of the cost. India rubber is pretty expensive. But it shows you how to do that. It's got a lot of good information in here. How to make your camp, eating utensils, taking care of yourself, and then even the pictures. This is something that always cracks me up, because this is rule number 1 of any type of, when you're out there in the wilds or whatnot, is store your crap in your boots and put socks on your boots, or flip your boots upside down, or seal your boots in some way so that creepy crawlies can't get in there, because it's not cool to stick your foot in there and find a scorpion in your boot. Not cool at all. You squeal like a little girl. This guy did. Yeah, dumb boot. Yeah, private first class decides he's gonna go fall asleep, crawl out of my fighting hole, flop off to the side out in the field, and it wasn't a scorpion, it was actually a tarantula. It happened twice to me. First time you think I'd have learned. Took my boots off, threw them off to the side. Well, tarantulas have a tendency to go where things are warm. Well, my boots were warm. Crawled inside my boots, I put my foot in there, and I felt something furry squishy, and I squealed like a little girl, and I heard about it for the rest of the time we're out in the field. Make things worse, the rest of the guys in my squad found out that I don't get along with spiders very well. Okay? Spiders, yeah. Zombies, I'll deal with zombies all day long. Spiders, we go to the spider apocalypse. Screw you, screw that, I'm out. Done. Whatever, not happening. But second time, crawl into my sleeping bag and I fall asleep. I'm laying there in my sleeping bag and I start feeling something heavy on my chest right about here. Well, I'm starting to go, what the heck? So I wake up and I lift up my sleeping bag and look down, and I'm seeing these little like this, and there's a tarantula sitting right here on my chest, and he's just as comfortable as all get out. And this was in California, where they're all over the place. And it's not, you're not supposed to kill them. I don't know the whole details behind it. We kept getting told not to kill the wildlife. Well, yeah, I emptied a saw into it and my sleeping bag. Then I went back to sleep. Sleeping bag was perforated. Tarantula was gone, I think killed. I don't care. 200 rounds of 5.56 will take care of any situation. End of story. So me and spiders, no go. But it's going back to this whole book thing, the Boy Scout handbook. It talks about purifying water. You got more checklists. it's a good universal tool. I mean, campfire, it talks about tinder, cooking, knots, swimming. Something that really blows my mind is how many people don't know how to swim. I mean, it really blows my mind. Poisonous snakes, first aid, just a whole gambit of good stuff in here. You can find them anywhere scouting supplies are sold, or I mean, if your kids are into scouts, I highly encourage it. I'm not going to go into the whole aspect that's been in the news about the scouts. Me, on my personal note of this, and I'm going to say this plain and simple, and I'm going to put it out there, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't affect it. It shouldn't affect what you're part of, an organization you're with, who you're with, what you're with. Sex, creed, religion, color of skin, it doesn't matter. And that's simple. That's all I'm going to say on that. We're not going to get on a gambit. It doesn't matter. Leave it at that. Okay. Alright, so that is a Boy Scout handbook. Good little book of information in there. It's pretty simple. It's kind of a little bulky. I don't know if they have a digital. I'll look up for you if they have a digital version that you can put, like, I bet you they do. That'd be interesting to find out. I've never thought of that. So, again, let's do a little recap. At the end of this, I'm going to throw up the video that the wife helped record of me digging a hole. Don't laugh at my manual labor. It's been nothing but all week long, knocking stuff out. Built me a fire pit in the front yard. Going to sit out there on my chair and burn me some wood and partake of some adult type beverages that have water in them. We covered homemade fire starters. I will definitely be showing you guys those more later on down the line. There's some different types and stuff. I've seen a lot of different ones. Talked about fires. We're going to go into that. I am going to try to do a mock bug out. Basically what that is I go out for a weekend, or at least 2 days, one night, 2 days, and I just survive out of my pack. What I have in my pack. I'm going to do a mock bug out for you guys, and we'll record it. Might be a little long, but we'll break it up and go from there. I think that might be pretty cool. If you guys are interested in doing a mock bug out with me, let me know. Comment and like on the post here, because mock bug outs are great, because basically it lets you test out your gear without really being in a too terrible of a situation where you can't, if you need help, you can get help. So maybe we'll do a Z-Girl Everything Zombie Apocalypse group mock bug out for the spring. If you guys are interested in something like that, let me know. Might even throw in one of my coveted Z-Girl patches as a prize, or we'll figure something out. I still got a crap ton of zombie stuff that we can do as prizes. So maybe we'll do a prize for the best mock bug out submission. Okay. As always, Z-Girl is having her July 4th zombie walk. We need zombies. 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 So if you're in the Michigan area, if you get the chance, or anybody in the Michigan area, or you can pass the word on to the Michigan area people, let them know. It'll be a good time. It's for a good cause. The Food Gatherers of Ann Arbor, it's all going towards that. It's helping them out. And my stance on helping people out. You know how I feel about that. So, with that, I'm going to wrap this up. What I want to say is tomorrow is Memorial Day. I want to say thank you for all those that have served, are serving, considering serving. Thank you. And take a moment and remember what Memorial Day is about. It's not about barbecues. It's not about the adult beverages with water in them. It's about remembering those that have gone before us and have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we have the freedoms we have today. And those freedoms are huge. I mean, I can personally say I've seen and I've been in countries where they would give their lives tenfold to have the freedoms we have right here, right now, today. So, thank you. With that, keep it twisted, be safe, and carry on.
Now.
Alright, Twisters. promised you I'd review this shovel, show you how it works out. I'm going to compare it against the E-tool. Now this one's broke. I'm not going to use this one because it's so worn up. Got the wife running the camera for me. Say hi, wife. Yeah, she said hi. Dog's attacking her right now, so if the camera bounces around, yeah, that's what happens. But basically, we talked about this shovel last time, the wood-handled shovel. Got your E-tool here, and they look like this, but what you can't see, I don't know if you can see, let's kind of show up here. See that bevel right there? See how it's all banged up and bent up? That's typically where it breaks off at. That's where it breaks at. That's usually where it breaks. That's usually where it dents at. Basically, it's going to screw up just like this. And it should hold it in place. Now, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, it doesn't work so well. So, I got my project here I'm working on. Decided I was going to dig me a fire pit in the front yard. As you can see, it's kind of difficult compared to your standard shovel to dig with. But if you get behind it, it actually doesn't do too bad of a job. I mean, so it's not a bad shovel overall. It seems to work pretty well. I mean, in a pinch, it'll do what it needs to do. We'll do some different styles of testing later on when we got some other stuff done up and ready to go. For now, that's your wood handle shovel.